Okay, so we're back for part three, and this really kind of gets easier and a little more fun, I think, as it goes along. But last time we just made the header, the sidebar, and the main content area and the footer all kind of go into their places in the layout using the CSS code. And the main thing that worked, that made it kind of do it, was that it floats to the right, the main does. And then the sidebar floats to the left, and since their widths are both less than 960, which is the whole wrapper, 720 and 200 is 920, then they'll fit side by side. So main floating over to the right, and then sidebar comes up to its left. And then we had to add in clear both on the footer to get it to stay down below instead of coming up next to main underneath the sidebar, and that's what forced it to stay down here. Something else we could have done, if you chose a different layout where your sidebar is on the right, really easy, as you might guess, just change these around. So main is going to stay floating left, sidebar is going to float right. There you go. Okay, so that's one of the nice things about controlling layout with CSS, is it's fairly easy to make changes like that without having to change a lot of HTML code. So let's say I'm going to go with the right sidebar. It doesn't really matter which one you do for this. So back in design view, what we're going to do now is start to make the HTML look a little nicer and make it into some things that we're going to be able to control with the CSS. So for example, I'm thinking that my text in the header up here is probably going to be in H1. So I'm going down to Format. I selected it, and I'm going down to Format. And I'm choosing Heading 1. So it's the biggest heading level. Okay, so you can tell it made it bigger, bolder, and also some space above and below it. And then I'm also going to think just in my main content area here, hit enter after that, and I lost my paragraphs, but I'm just going to say that there's one there, I think, and I'm going to, let's see, easy here, do that. And so I'm going to make this one into an H2, and maybe this one's an H3. Okay, and I really don't need all this text, but maybe do one more H3 right here, and then I think I'm just going to delete those. Okay, that'll be plenty. So I have an H1, H2, H3, and something else we're going to want to see is a link, see what that looks like. So I'm just going to select some text here that I want to be an imaginary link. And down in the Properties panel next to link, I'm just going to type in a number sign. And what that is it makes like a dummy link, like a blank link. So it looks like a link, and you can click on it, and it really just kind of reloads the same page. So I'm just clicking off of that. And so now it should turn blue and underlined like it's a link. Over here in the sidebar, we're going to have our menu in the sidebar. And so we may have text above or below it, so I'm just going to kind of space that out there. And then I'm just going to type home. And in front of that, I'm going to go down to the properties and hit the bullet button. And I'm going back after home, and I'm hitting enter. And so it made another bullet. I'm just going to say page 1, page 2, page 3. And you can do this for however many pages you're going to have. You can always just make a bunch of extra and then delete the stuff you don't need later on. So let's say we're going to have actually a 6-page website. So home is page 1 maybe. So sorry about that. Page 6, and then I've got some text there, Okay, and what this really is over here is an unordered list. If you select any of these, yikes, Command Z to undo, click inside any one of those, and you can come over here to the tags, and you can see this is an LI, which is a list item, so there it just selected that one list item. And that's inside a UL, which is unordered list, which is the whole thing. And then that's inside the sidebar. And so we'll make some CSS that apply specifically to these. I'm also going to make these into links. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to copy and paste that because I'm incredibly lazy. V, Command V. Since this is going to be our menu, to see what these are going to look like, we're going to need them to think that they're links. Okay, so now we've got some different things going. What else do we need? I think that's about it in the HTML. So for the rest of this, we're just going to add some things in the CSS. And again, we're going to add them just in the code, and then we can work with them later just through the dialog box and through the CSS panel over here. And we'll also add some stuff later just using that. But still back with the code just because it really is going to be easier and faster. So far in here, all we've got is the body and the layout boxes. So I'm just going to copy this little comment here for my next section. And this is going to be links in the main content area. Okay, and styles that apply to any links. The link tag is an anchor tag, which is A. And so I'm going to do A. And then the braces like that. And we're going to modify this so that it only applies to links in the main content area, but this would apply to any links in the whole page. And I'm going to copy this before I type in anything, because we're going to have 4 more of these. Okay, love it when it does that. Put that back there. So we need 5 altogether. 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually this one, this second one is a:link. And the next one is a:visited. And then a:hover. And the last one is a:active. And these do have to be in this order. Sometimes in CSS it doesn't matter what order you have things in, and sometimes it does. This is one of the times where it does, or they won't act the way you want them to. So what you would put in A is just a style that you want to apply to all your links, no matter whether you've clicked on it yet or not, whether it's visited yet or not, or you're hovering over it or not. So like let's say I want all my links to be bold, and that's going to help them stand out. So the CSS code for that is font weight : I'm just going to type bold and then semicolon. So that will apply to all of our links. And in design view, you can see now this link here in the main content area and these links over here all went bold. And any links I would have had anywhere else would have done the same thing. And so then in a:link, this is just going to apply to links that are not being hovered over or haven't already been clicked on, they're not already visited, and they're not active, they're not currently loading the page. So what I'm going to do for those is just set a color. And I'm just going to make something up for now. Say orange. And then visited, sometimes people set the color, so I'm just going to copy and paste color. Plop it in here. Sometimes people will set it the same for visited links. Really, you're supposed to make it a little bit different so people can tell what they've clicked on and what they haven't. But there are some cases where you do want to keep it the same, just so that we can see the difference here. I am going to change it. Let's just see what we get if we change those like that. And then hover. color. Maybe I want it to, let's see, we'll make it really obnoxious. Change to magenta. Sorry if you like magenta. And then active is when you've clicked on a link and it's in the process of loading the page. So you normally don't see this color for very long. And so I'm going to just do color and active. The default active color is red, so I'm going to make it something different just so we can see it's really doing it. And so our links will all be bold whether they've been clicked on or hovering over or active. And then if we haven't clicked on them yet, they'll be this color. If we have, they'll turn that color. And then if we hover over them, they should do that. If they're active, they should do that. So I haven't saved anything in a while, so I'm just going to go up to File, Save All. So now you can see all my link colors. The other thing we haven't done yet is preview this. So now that it's saved, I'm going up to the globe here and then preview it in any of the browsers that you want. And when you roll over your links or hover over them, you should see your hover color. And then clicking on one just for a second, you should see your active color. So there's the kind of greenish. And now that I have clicked on that and they're all linking to the same thing, that pound sign, now they all changed to my visited link color. Okay, so that's how those work. Here's the thing though, usually you don't want styles to apply to all links the same in different sections of your site. Like maybe the menu is going to look more like kind of a menu bar with some different things going on, maybe with a background hover that changes. And then these links in here, you do want to look like this. So there needs to be a way to differentiate between links in different sections. And that's kind of why we're using copy and paste on this. So what we're going to do is add in, we really only want this to apply in the main content area. And stuff that so far we've applied to main, we've just told it the ID main and it's doing it. So what we need to do is just put an ID in front of each of these links and say main space A like that. And so I'm just going to copy including the space, Command C, and then Command V on each of these. I'm getting a blank line in there, but that's okay. And now that style will only apply to all of these that are inside the main div. So now you can see our other links went back, the ones that are in the sidebar. And I don't need to save and preview, but all that stuff would appear there. So then what we're going to do is copy and paste this whole section, actually including the comment up there, and just Command C, Command V. And then these will be the links in the sidebar, or this will be kind of the main menu. Okay, and then so what we would have to do to make these work for sidebar is actually a couple things. Main has to change to sidebar. Copy and paste again. Command C, Command V. And then the other thing is that these are actually also inside an unordered list that we saw earlier and inside a list item. So I really should have added that in when we were copying and pasting sidebar. But we can do that real quick. So this will apply like for a hover to a link that's inside a list item that's inside a UL that's only in the sidebar. And so we can change around all these colors and that'll make it just set our sidebar menu to do something different than what's in our main content. And so that's what we'll do next time, is see how to make it into kind of a menu bar type of thing.